Welcome to the Black and Gold Standard Podcast. And today I want to talk about the 53-man roster. The Steelers already have made a few moves, but the roster needs to be cut down to 53 by, I think, 4 o'clock on Tuesday. And this is just my opinion on some of the guys that I think that's going to make it. And but you got to remember this roster, especially for maybe the first week or so, was going to be very fluid. Well, actually, the roster is very fluid. Maybe guys from probably guys from 52. No, excuse me, probably about from 50 to 53. Those guys are very fluid from week to week. If they even going to stay on the roster or not, but I'm just kind of going with what I think the Steelers' initial roster would be. But to be honest, nobody knows. No, the only person knows is Mike Tomlin and Omar Khan. Everybody else, we can pretty much take a guess. But like for the most part, um, everybody pretty much know what the roster is going to be, and that's for any NFL team that follows their team. You, for the most part, you kind of know what the roster is going to be, and like I say, the surprise comes in those bottom 3 or 4 guys. It get it's just fluid with those guys. They'll be there for a day, and they might make the original 53, and then tomorrow they're gone. So that's just how it is. So to say that you got it down, or for a fact this guy that guy gonna make it, it's pretty hard to say. Like I say, except for the obvious guys. I think right now the Steelers they could actually throw a couple of surprises. Just going over my 53. I got not really no major surprises. I just got one person that I thought that probably wouldn't make it. I have them making it right now, and we'll get into it. But I think an injury kind of maybe helped him out a little bit. But again, it's one of those fluid situations where he could be here today and gone tomorrow. But with that said, we're just gonna kind of get into this and see where we at. So obviously with the quarterback, I think Pittsburgh is going to keep 3. I think they're going to keep 3 quarterbacks, and right now, obviously Aaron Rodgers, Mason Rudolph, and I think Skylar Thompson has earned him a roster spot. So then you would say, well, how about Will Howard? I really think he's going to start the year off on the injury reserve list. So that maybe put him out for about 4 weeks. And then when it's time to bring him back, either they're going to bring him back and Skylar Thompson is maybe released by that time, or maybe they might try to work out a trade and trade him, see if they can get something. But I think he's probably going to be the odd man out, even though to me in preseason he outplayed Mason. But I don't know if the Steelers would go that far as making Thompson the number 2 quarterback, but he definitely outplayed Mason this summer. That's not really hard to see. But like I said, I think right now they keep 3. Howard starts off on the injury reserve list, and then once he's eligible to come off, the Steelers will deal with that, at that time. And like I say, probably more than likely, Skylar Thompson to be the odd man out. All right, let's go to our running backs. And running backs, pretty standard. Really, no surprise here. I think they're gonna keep 3. Jalen Warren, he'll start off as the starter, and it just depends. It just depends on 2 things. It's gonna depend on Johnson, how quick he can really pick things up and definitely picking up the blitz and his pass pro. If he can develop that, um, he's um he's bound to take that job. Warren, he's gonna do everything right. He's gonna do the pass pro and all that type stuff. But the issue with him is holding on to the ball. It's holding on to the ball, and he's a fumbler. I mean, he got in, and granted, probably haven't really took any hits. That was his first time out there, but still, you got to hold on to the rock, and that's something that he do. He do put that ball down on the ground, and that's not a good thing. So that's just going to be a situation where he's going to have to work on it, and he can definitely lose his job quicker than I think he probably going to lose it. But you never know. And then Kenneth Gainwell, he just he's going to fit his role. He'll be the third back. He'll probably handle a lot of the third downs, and maybe kickoff return, or he do something like that. But for the most part, he's going to keep that role as the third down back. All right, let's get into the receivers. Then this is the very fluid position room here, and I really have them carrying an extra guy. Um, I actually got him. I got him at 5, but I actually got the receivers at 6 because I truly believe it's going to be a free agent or a trade. I think they're going to pick up another guy, but I think the guys that's on the roster now that makes it is going to be obviously DK, Calvin Austin III, Roman Wilson, Stovanik. Even though I think he got the bad toe right now, so we had to see what his deal is going to be. Scotty Miller basically played himself onto this roster. He had a strong finish, a strong summer. So he finished in, like I say, the 6th guy I think is going to be a free agent or a trade. It's going to be somebody coming in. Now, the thing with this is, and it's a possibility, if they do bring in another guy, Scotty Miller, he may be out of here. So, like I was saying, this is where I say your roster is going to be fluid, and it's going to be guys that, they might make the original 53, but then the next day they can be gone. Tight ends, I got Steelers keeping 4. And so the obvious people, Fryermuth, Smith, Washington, Connor Hayward, everybody kind of said, he's here because his brother is on the team, and I really can't debate it. But I think, to be honest, the special teams aspect of his game is probably keeping him around. That's all the value that he brings right now is on special teams. Terrible blocker, terrible inline blocker. If you watch any run game and they're running his way and he's that end guy, it's a good chance he's not gonna make that block. He's a terrible blocker. So I just think right now, special teams is keeping him around, and that's about it. But yeah, they'll keep 4, but you already had those top 3 guys would be the guys that is really going to put in the time and play a lot. Offensive line, I got them at 9. So we know our starters: Jones, Ciamalo, Frazier, McCormick, and Bonatano. So that's our 5, and that's our starters. And right now, the offensive line is very questionable, but at this point, it is what it is. This is what you got to work with, and these guys just got to get it together. They played a lot this summer, but they just got to get it together and keep grinding. And as far as the backups, um, I got Pete, Anderson, McCullum, and Cook. I got those guys kind of filling out the tail end of the roster. A lot of those guys, as you can see, play tackle, guard, tackle, column. Um, Pretty solid backup. I mean, he's a backup and Cook. These guys are just solid backups. Now, I'm gonna be honest; these guys did not really play that well. I thought in the preseason, but again, this is what you got, and this is what you got to deal with. So at this point, it's really nothing else you can do but just keep coaching these guys up and hopefully they get better. All right, we're gonna move over to the defense. Let's move over here to the defense and let's go D line. So D line, I have obviously your starters will be your three starters are going to be Cam, Bennett, and Harmon. Now, actually, Harmon is hurt, so I'm expecting him to probably miss week one at the minimum. He's going to miss week one, so um, he won't be in that starting lineup. I'm thinking probably Black would be there. Um, I don't know if they'll move Black to defensive tackle and then move Benton down where to me that's where I think Benton should play anyway. But at this point, they want to make room for him to get in there, so they had to put him at D tackle. So so we got those three starters, and then the depth. This is a surprise. DeMarvin Leal, I definitely had said that he was not going to make it. Um, he played very well in this last game against Charlotte. Um, he was disruptive. Let's say that. I know one play he had got a penalty, but he was very disruptive, and he's just and I think with the Harmon injury, I think that kind of saved him. Not saying he's here long term. He's definitely may not be here long term, but again, I think for right now he makes it, and and eventually when Harmon gets healthy, he's the guy that could you could see go, or he's a guy that actually Steelers could trade. Um, I just think at this point, I think the Steelers are just a little leery about actually cutting him because I think they know if they cut him, they probably not going to get him back. He's going to get claimed by somebody. So I think the Steelers actually would like to get something for him, and so I don't really see them cutting him. But he's my one of my surprise guys that I would say that made the roster that I really didn't have no faith in he would make it. Outside linebackers, I got them keeping four, and just no surprises here. You got T.J. Watt, you got Alex Highsmith, Nick Herbert, and Jack Sawyer. Those would be the four offensive line. I mean, outside linebackers. Herbert would be more of your rush guy, and Sawyer would be more of your set the edge, outside, contain guy. So that's the outside linebackers. Let's go inside linebackers. Inside linebackers, I got the Steelers keeping four as well. And your two starters will be Patrick Queen and Peyton Wilson. And then you will have Cole Holcomb and Malik Harrison backing those guys up. I'm real excited about Wilson this year. I think Wilson going to have a real good year. I think he's going to be able to relax a little more, understand what he's doing, really play and show that speed that he has because he's probably like one of the fastest guys on the team, believe it or not. And even with Patrick Queen, I mean, this is second year in the defense. I think he got a better understanding of it, not probably thinking as much as he probably was at first. So this is this is going to be a big year for this group, I think. Cornerbacks. All right, so this room here, I have Ramsey, Porter, Slay, Echoes, Pierre, and I think it's going to be either a free agent pickup more than likely or a trade. I think the Steelers will be watching that. I think they will be watching that release guys that got released, and I think they'll be watching that real hard. I know a lot of people will be like James Pierre, how he make it, but I think this is more of a special teams position than him really making it as a corner. Um, he's one of the Steelers. I mean, he might actually be the best gunner. So they got to have him at this point. Ramsey, I'm very excited to see how they're gonna really work this out with him. But he's probably the number one corner at this point. But he's gonna be moving everywhere on the field. He's gonna be in the slot. He's gonna be in the probably move back to safety at times, play corner. But I think when it's times that Ramsey is not in the slot and he need to stay out at corner, you got Echoes that's going to move into the corner, into that slot position, and we'll just see. I noticed Trice made it back to practice, but at this point, I really can't see how he would make the 53. I know the Steelers like him a lot, but to me, that would be a bad thing to bring him onto the active roster when he's been hurt. He hasn't been able to do nothing, and he hasn't really practiced none this summer. But I think he's a guy that I think because of his injuries, they have a good chance of getting him back once they release him and getting him back on the practice squad. And I think the Steelers would bring him back to that and still work with him because I think he has a lot of things that the Steelers like, and they like his size and his athletic ability, but his body has just totally failed him. But I think if the Steelers can, they will bring him back on the practice squad. And we got the safeties. I got 4. I got them bringing Elliott. He's going to be a strong safety. Thornhill, be the free. Chuck Clark, kind of questionable here. He kind of faded in the last couple of preseason games, and then Killebrew, which again, this is the guy. This is the guy that it's special teams that's bringing him back here. So that said, our special teams, I think they bring back the normal 3 guys that we figured. Boz, Cam Johnson. Now he actually was in a competition, but I think he out. He won the position. It was close, but I think he won it. And on top of that, the Steelers got some money that really tied up in him still. So you kind of knew he was going to get that position. And Christian Kuntz, I know he got the chest injury, but they're saying that he's okay. And then the guy that they actually bought in to snap to get through the preseason game, they ended up letting him go. So that was a good sign that I guess Kuntz is going to be okay. So with that is the my 53-man roster that I got, and so we'll see on Tuesday how close did I came to nailing it and getting it right. But like I say, again, this roster is going to be so fluid for the first few days after Tuesday. It's going to be crazy. But with that said, that is it. So just give us a like, leave a comment, subscribe, trying to grow the station, and give us a little help there. And with that said, everybody take care. Enjoy your Sunday, and believe it or not, it'll be football in about 2 weeks. Yeah, about 2 weeks we'll have football. So till then, take care. I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.